Shalom is real. I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, for allowing me to do another lesson. Yahweh is who the world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai is his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and there's no God beside him. Double honors to the elders and the apostles, the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone, for being faithful witnesses to the Holy Spirit, and shalom to the elect, whom the Lord have given ears to hear. And I want to do a quick hit going into one of our brothers, one of the children of Jacob, Asher. So this is the book of Genesis, chapter 30, verse 9. When Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah, her maid, and gave her Jacob to wife. It says, and Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a son. And Leah said, a troop cometh, and she called his name Gad. And in the scriptures, each man was given a name according to what was surrounding his birth or what his purpose would be during his life on earth, during his time on earth. Right? So it says, and Leah said, a troop cometh, and she called his name Gad, which the word Gad goes into the Hebrew word God, meaning troop. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a second son. And Leah said, happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher. Okay, so the word Asher goes into the Hebrew word Ashar, meaning happy. Now, let's jump over to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 24. And of Asher he said, let Asher be blessed with children. Let him be acceptable to his brethren, and let him dip his foot in oil. Now, Asher today will be you so-called Colombians to the so-called Uruguayans, that portion of land over there. I'll show you brothers that may not know. I'll show you the chart, 12 tribes chart. All right, so on the left, as you see, as you should already know, the left is who they're called biblically. They're biblical names. On the right is their earthly names, the names that you would know them by today. So Asher are the so-called Colombians to the so-called Uruguayans. All right, meaning the Colombians, the Venezuelans, the Bolivians, all right, minus the Argentinians and the Chileans. That would be of the tribe of Naphtali, right? But sticking to the point, Asher, let Asher be blessed with children, let him be acceptable to his brethren, and let him dip his foot in oil. And when you look it up of that land, right, because it's also good to know history, because you ought to know that the 12 tribes came over here to the Americas. So that narrows down to where they might be all throughout the world. Okay? I'm sorry, not the 12 tribes, the 10 tribes. Whereas Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, they stayed predominantly in Israel for a while, and then they were scattered to Africa. All right? And now today, right? That's why today they're known as the so-called African Americans, Judah. You have Benjamin and Levi. Benjamin and Levi, as you see, Benjamin was so-called West Indians, and Levi are the so-called Haitians. So going into with Salakia, I just want to give you as much information as possible, but I also gotta make sure I don't veer off the point because I find myself doing that sometimes. But going into the prophecy of Asher, their foot being dipped in oil. So now I want to look up how rich is South America in oil. Crude oil in Venezuela. Oh, let's read the AI overview. South America is considered very rich in oil, holding a significant portion of the world's oil reserves, primarily due to Venezuela's massive oil deposits, making the region one of the top oil producing areas globally, with Brazil also being a major contributor. All right. So there you go. Straight into the point. Now, this also goes to show you who these people are, because here it is in a world that's ran by oil. Why are these people struggling? Right? Because the curses are on them. The curses are on us. That we should be the borrower, not the lender. You mean to tell me a land rich in oil should not be the lender and not the borrower? No, but these people right here are known as savages, are known as poor, poverty stricken. Normally when you go over there, it's normally like, watch your bag, watch your, jewelry and stuff like that. All right. Because the curses befall, it's prophesied that the curses will befall the Israelites. All right. So again, proven or adding to the point of their foot being dipped in oil. So it says, verse 25, thy shoes shall be iron and brass, and as thy days, so shall thy strength be. So now, let's look up how rich is South America in iron and brass. All right, let's see here. God, please, bro. So as you see, 7 countries with the largest crude iron ore reserves in the world. So after Austria is Brazil, which again, when you understand history, you must know that the 12 tribes came to this side of the world. I'm sorry, I keep saying the 12 tribes. The 10 tribes came to this side of the world under the Assyrian Empire. Right? Essentially, we in the last days, so of course all 12 tribes over here. But the northern tribes, which is Asher, is a part of the northern tribes, because you have the northern and the southern. That's one thing you should also know. You have northern, whereas there was a split. All right, you could read that. Was that book of 1 Kings 11, I believe? All right. It was a split to where 10 tribes would go one way and 3 tribes would go the other. All right. So it says Brazil is second to Austria in iron. Brazil holds the second largest iron ore reserves globally, estimated at around 29 billion tons. The country is home to the world's biggest iron ore mining operation, the Carajas mine base in the northern state of Pará. All right. Brazil, as it also tells us in Genesis 49:20, out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. And when you go into Asher or Brazil, right, it says, as you see, it says, proving Asher to South Americans, because knowing that according to 2 Esdras 13, Northern came to the Americas, where in the world has the largest rainforest, the Amazon, which runs the majority of the forest. 60% is in Brazil, followed by Peru, Colombia with 10%, with minor amounts, and and it says bread fat, meaning an abundance of exotic foods, which is grown in a rainforest. It is said that Brazil has the most agricultural potential in all of Latin America. Right? And I want to play this video for you brothers, because Asher name will be happy. Right? So let me play this video. And this guy right here, well, he's going to introduce himself. I don't know if he's going to introduce himself, but he's going to speak on his experience being in Colombia. He was talking about how he was in the poorer neighborhoods, as well as the more middle class neighborhoods, and what he's come to find out.
If any of you actually been to Medellin, if you've been to like Laureles, Poblado, very different world from here, because those areas, social class, number 4, 5, 6, upper middle to high class. What we showed you before was 1 bordering 0, so it's very, very different. But one thing that I do like, everyone seems pretty happy, playing sports, having a drink, talking to their family, like this kid here. Hola, ¿qué más? ¿Estás feliz?
Sí, sí, sí.
Siempre?
Siempre.
Listo. We're approaching the house now, so we're going to actually see what one of the kids who comes to our English classes every week, she's probably the best student we have.
Muy tesa.
Muy tesa.
Very smart.
All right, so we're in Jiménez neighborhood right.
All right, so that was pretty much the point. As you see, someone that was physically in the land, showing you how the people are. All right, and if if you had the privilege of growing up around Asher, you know that they're very cool people. I can personally say that. I had a so-called Judite friend. A so-called black dude as a friend, in the world, and a so-called Asherite. And trust me, I see Asher he was that man, he was pretty cool, man. He was a cool dude. But with that, shalom to the elect.